Welcome back. Well, it's Nigeria is gearing up for upcoming 2023 elections. There are fears that many public officers may be distracted by electioneering activities to the detriment of project implementation and economic growth, and businesses will definitely feel the impact. Let's talk to Onasemi Emmanuel now. Lead partner, Cardinal Professional Services, join us right here in the studio. Great to have you.
Thank you, Laddie, for having me. Thank you.
So we got that projection from the IMF, stating that we'll grow by about 3.4% in 2022, but for 2023, they say a decline for about 3.1%. What do you think?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest considerations that the economy needs to be practical about and our government needs to be up and doing about. The expectation is that based on this projection, IMF also emphasized that being an election year, there are some things that will slag, and then government may not be able to respond as necessary because of some electioneering interest, that may be very destructive. What is then expected is that, for the businesses to thrive in an environment where such projection is, there should be some expectation from the government to make sure that electioneering impact do not affect businesses in a negative way. And the way I want to look at it is to say, electioneering activities are also economic activities in a sense. So
some businesses will profit.
Yeah, they are also economic activities in a sense, to the extent that some industry sector will definitely service those activities. You want to look at it from entertainment. The entertainers will definitely go back home smiling this season. You want to look at the events and crowd management planning, security planning, security management. You want to look at logistics, and then you want to also look at transportation, aviation, people traveling up and down for campaigns. Then we expect
the photographers.
Yeah, the photographers. You understand? So we expect the MBS reports, subsequent sector to reflect this improvement in this segment. So in the totality of the picture, it's not all the way gloomy. But what we may then need to evaluate is to say, from the benefit outlook, do we really think the benefit outlook outweighs the cost outlook when we look at other businesses playing in the Nigerian environment?
And we know that manufacturers now are struggling with FX at this time, and we saw what happened over the weekend, with the Naira, after the conversations about the redesigning, of the Naira. What do you see going forward for manufacturers?
Yeah, because the truth is that the real production sector really needs forests to thrive. Following from the scarcity, the CBN has been struggling a bit to, shore up forests to support the real sector. But that this electionary period, even prior to now, we can see what happened during the primaries when the demands on the forest, wherever the sources came from, we may not be able to discuss, but we know that that translated to some impact on the further devaluation of the Naira after the primaries, and we are moving to the period of the election proper, where we know that there will be more demands and coming because of election-related activities, and they need to meet those demands. So we also, from the outlook, the rich sector, reproduction sector, needs to practically put in place strategies to mitigate this impact on their production activities. They may then have to start looking elsewhere for where to source forest from in order to continue production, and that is the reality of what we have on ground at the moment, because election-related activity will definitely act a toll on the little or nothing reserve that we currently have at the covers of the CBN.
Quite interesting. And, we did see the CBN governor also say the redesigning is also going to help, with the issue of vote buying, and obviously, from what's happened with other countries, like take, for instance, India, that actually demonetized, some of their currencies, we saw the poor, actually suffered, in those economies. And I'm wondering, what can we expect here in Nigeria?
Yeah, redesigning the currency, CBN has their own outlook, but the way the public interprets it is also different. We saw one of the major spokesperson in the media, Gumi, speaking about, the fact that terrorists may start demanding, bandits may start demanding, ransom in USD if you redesign the Naira, So the truth is that...
with the FX shortage.
you understand, which will further impact the efforts. And looking at the everyday common man, you want to also look at it to say, okay, you are mopping up the currency within the economy. How quickly are you able to replace it, with the new Naira notes? And so the truth be told, Nigerian politics as of today is still cash backed. Many things are transacted based on cash. So whether you like it or not, there are some powers that will get the cash out for the purpose of these. So whether you have a good intention to kind of limit vote buying, I doubt if you are able to achieve that with this measure.
And how do you see this impacting, merchants that actually depend on cash transactions at this time? Are they going to just say no, to cash at this point?
Well, there's been this drive for Nigeria to go cashless, and transaction has been improving year on year with some significant progress on how we are progressing towards reaching towards the totally cashless economy. But we can't take away the fact that there are some petty trades that are still operating on cash, and you may not be able to take those out of the economy as of now. So the truth is that the CBN needs to look for a way to support those businesses. We've seen the introduction of POS merchant solutions, and whether those people have been included, and we have a lot of inclusiveness with them. But the truth is that the inclusiveness status is not at 100% yet, and the economy will need some cash, to continue to flow. Otherwise, you may be killing those sectors which are largely informal. Yeah.
And we still have rate hikes, coming. And right here, we know the central bank and the MPC, they don't look like they're going to be dovish, anytime soon.
Yeah.
This is still obviously an issue businesses are dealing with, coupled with, electioneering activities.
Yeah, for businesses generally, I would love to, from an electioneering activity perspective, one of the things that you need to look at, particularly if you're a business, that you have some government-backed contracts, bankrolling your activities, then you have to be a bit more strategic this period to ensure that, the impact of electioneering activity is not significant on your business. So what will definitely be happening is that, there are some government projects that are sellable for electioneering purposes. Then you see government fast-tracking those projects so that they can bring them out this period to show the people that we have delivered these, So people that are into the sellable projects may be able to get some government support, get funds to make sure that those projects are delivered. But if you are providing services or contracts related to non-sellable projects, for example, look, the government itself has come out to say that the COVID-19 Action Recovery Plan will have to be put on hold because of electioneering activity, because it is not election sellable, you understand? So as a business, if you have a contract, a government-related contract, you have to reevaluate your portfolio and say, what are the measures that I have to put in place now to mitigate the impact on my revenue, impact on my operations, and my going concern generally.
Right, so much to look into there. Thank you so much, Onasimi Emmanuel, lead partner, Cardinal Professional Services. Great having your perspective.
Thank you very much, Ladi, for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great.